as part of our Brightwater Technologies Tech Month, I'm sitting down with some tech leaders from across the industry to talk about their companies and anything interesting happening in their space. Today's a really exciting one. I'm sitting down with Dan Purcell. Dan's the founder and CEO of Ceartas DMCA, the world's leading anti-piracy and privacy protection for content creators and beyond platform. Dan, how are you?
Great, Gareth. Thanks very much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Do you want to
No
kick off,
worries.
Dan, by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I was born in Dublin, actually a Northsider of all things.
Really? Wow.
I came all the way from Darndale, believe it or not. So my
I've lost
family,
that accent.
I certainly have. I was raised in Letterkenny from the
Hmm.
age of 8. In my early 20s, 23, 24, I moved to the States.
Hmm.
So always been interested in technology. Wasn't very good in school. Not that I wasn't good in school. Wasn't really the way schools, I guess, are structured and format. Didn't really fit my method of thinking, which in my later years would lead to an adult diagnosis of ADHD. So there we go.
Right.
So always interested in technology, how things worked, and looking at ways of improving things. So I'd always look at things and be like, why is it this way when it could be this way, right? So I guess a very early kind of a recognition of user experience and user interactive design and stuff like that, right? So I guess my intrigue and stuff like that took me always in technology. So I actually ran an iPhone repair business back
Right.
in 2010, one of the first in the country to do so. Made some money of it, sold it on to another computer guy, went to the States, ended up working at Apple. So anybody who's familiar with Apple stores, they have this really cringy term for their technicians. They call them geniuses. It's so secondhand embarrassment every time. But I was a genius at the Apple store, and then went on to their business team where I really got to see kind of like the intersection of consumer and business. So one thing about working for Apple is you really there's two elements to their business. There's creating relationships, which is putting a product in someone's hands, and then repairing relationships, which is my product's not working. Can you repair it for me? So I thought that was kind of fascinating, right? So had a good stint there. They moved me. I was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the time. Moved me to California, and from there the rest is history. Went from Apple to Google to Facebook as at Zendesk, and yeah, became a self-taught engineer and started a Google Home / assistant team in Mountain View, California. Led a very, very big team. It was quite successful. And then I kind of, the American thing kind of ran its course, 8 years, moved back to Dublin, back to Google, had a little stint at Facebook. And then through some interesting, I guess, some personal events led to the creation of my company, which I can get into in a moment if you like.